Alright, and we're live. Long time no see. No, you know what? I want Richard. Devil, how's it going, man? I am installing Baldur's Gate 3, so it's all the downloads are done. It's just installing, which should be done. It says in about 30 minutes or so. It might be a little bit longer, but either way, before stream it'll be done. So after stream, Devil, if you're up, what we can do is we can pop in VC. We can check. We can check if you and I can join a server, or you and I can join a game, and then we're chilling. And then we can call it. We're at 20% install right now. Chris, Bullseye, how's it going, guys? Are you in the Mafia? Who's asking? I'm in waste management. Jesus Christ. Okay, can anyone help me with this? Because we tried doing this earlier during the morning stream, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out any of them. Devil, you're our fucking resident daily game expert. Any hints? Any suggestions? Please guide me, oh master. I'm lost. I think I tried like Palazzo, Piazza, Guaccio, and something because I thought they sounded like Italian words or something. That was fucking nothing. I don't know. Harem. Everything reminds me of her. I'm sorry. I can't help. Culo. Culo. Depot. Words ending in O. Row, depot, I'm going for... Nah, that's... This is so good. This is so cringe. I know nothing. I don't know how to do anything. I'm stupid. Stupid and small. Oh, Devil's got something? Okay. Depot. There's 3 more that are needed. Lumion, how's it going? Depot, Apostle, Mortgage, Poirot. The fuck? What would this be? Dude, you got that? What? First of all, Bullseye, it would be in Italy, you bitch. And no. Okay, hold on. I have to redeem myself. We had such a bad chess game earlier. I have to redeem myself. The movie Grease? Oh, I see. Oh, no. Alright, well then, I guess I'm the dumbass. He can go back here or here. Those are his only two options. Well, I guess he could go here, but that'd be mighty dumb. Yeah, someone said they might be like Mets players or something. I don't know. So, how's everyone's day going? Long time no see for all of you, you know? It's been so long since I went live. Crazy. Dwight Gooden. Piazza. Seaver Strawberry. Oh, devil, my goat, my goat. Oh my god, this is happening. I don't know the other two though. It's all good. It's all good, dude. Hercules. The Palazzo Sasso. Just getting a hotel or some shit. I don't know what the fuck. There's no fucking way this is a word. Why would he just give me two? How many chapters does, I think, Lumion, I think they said 109. I'm so dumb. No, but if he takes, then I take. No, never mind. The Chris Brown. What the fuck? Now I can go here. And I can go fucking absolutely nowhere. Lovely. Can't go. Here. Go here. I mean, he might have said it at one point in time. Maybe, you know, because he did beat her. Oh shit, now he can't. his ass. Oh my god. What have you done? Yes, Lumion. Most people did also tell me this. Okay, hold on. So if I take this, he takes... And then I take... And then he takes. But that's just an even trade. But I don't want... Not the slick back here. Come on, Kami. Live a little. There he... Yeah, but then, what if I just... do this? My attack still remains. He hasn't solved it. See? I'm starting to think again. My brain, the cogs are turning. Very slowly, mind you. I'm still an idiot. The cogs are turning. I just almost missed that. I almost just did an even trade when I have him dead to rights. Well, that's just a fucking wink. I can like go here or something. Do this. Because oops. Wink. Wink. What am I doing? It's a free night. What am I actually honestly doing? This is so cooked. His knights have like nowhere to go. Oh, this is so cooked. Oh, that's so depressing. Get fucking rolled. Alright. Alright, well, how about we start reading? I would like to get to bed at a decent hour, just because I do have to, do the volume ender tomorrow, so let's just get a move on this. Oh my god. The fucking install just jumped up to 56 minutes now. I can't blame it. I'm using a lot more RAM now than I was before I was streaming, but still, this is bullshit. Plus, I have to stream for like 2 hours anyway, so matter. Sleep is for communists and the weak. True! True capitalists spend all their hours providing shareholder value. You're not doing that? What even good are you? Cringe. True. Oh, I like to pursue my interests and try to deepen my horizons as a human. Get fucking rolled, buddy. No one cares. Provide shareholder value. Okay. Chapter 90. Trying again. Indeed, no matter where I fell asleep, I'll wake up here. Lumion tumbled out of bed and glimpsed at the fate appropriator Dirk beside him. No. Fallen Mercury. Thank fucking God. The name Dirk is so bad. What the fuck is a Dirk? A long bladed thrusting dagger? You know the only Dirk I know of? You wanna know the only Dirk I care about? Dirk Nowitzki, my goat. He planted his hands on the desk and cast his gaze at the blood-colored peak At the summit of the mountain, the fog was dense and stratified, utterly masking the three-headed, six-armed colossus. I nearly lost control with just a glance last time. I really have no idea what to do if I have to face it in the future. He didn't sink into his emotions for long and quickly broke free because he still had a lot of things to do. Lumion contorted himself into a deranged dance within his room, emitting a distorted spiritual pulse, combining the stirred forces of nature. Before long, he sensed entities approaching the window, including the orifice monster, the shotgun monster, and the skinless monster. Lumion was in no hurry. Following his dance, he withdrew a ritual silver dagger and stabbed the back of his left hand. A drop of crimson swiftly surfaced and congealed into a bead atop his skin, guiding his spirituality and the forces of nature. The trio of creatures shifted but didn't dare enter Lumion's home or attach to him. Lumion spun around, elevated his left hand, and said, "I," in Hermes, causing the room to shake a little. Employing his ritual dagger, Lumion collected the droplet of blood and aimed it at the orifice monster. "I command thee, onto me." Again, in ancient Hermes, an imperceptible gust blew. A translucent form of the mouth orifice monster trembled as if seized and vigorously shaken. Just as Lumion completed the dance, believing it would have no effect, the monster hurtled into the home and landed upon the ritual dagger. It then convulsed violently as it tunneled into Lumion's body through the dagger. Lumion couldn't help but gasp, his mind flooded with thoughts of so hungry, starving. He hastily turned around and stared at the full-length mirror on his wardrobe. He saw his visage was pallid and tinged circuline? What is this word? His maw gaped wildly, resembling a cadaver more than a living being. Success. Lumion exulted, gazing at his reflection as if regarding a stranger. It felt alien. He resisted his intense hunger and attempted to sense the orifice monster possessing him. It was like acquiring an additional brain. Much of it brimmed with hunger, bloodlust, madness, and more. Instinctively, he had a proclivity to harness its characteristics. Lumion could utilize his will and spirituality to magnify one of those instincts. It equated to employing the orifice monster's traits or abilities. Without even a thought, Lumion chose invisibility. In the blink of an eye, his reflection vanished from the mirror. Everything from his body to his clothes to the ritual dagger had disappeared. Lumion took a few steps back and forth, but couldn't spot any traces of himself in the mirror or the glass. Of course, his footprints and smell remained. Lumion stuffed the dagger Aurora had given him, raised his arms, and punched the air a few times. With each punch, the full-body mirror stayed empty until Lumion swung a fist at its surface. The moment his knuckle connected with the mirror, his outline materialized, his face pale with a tinge of blue, and his eyes glinted dangerously. Bullseye, why are you quoting Nick Fuentes to me? Aaron, how's it going, man? Thanks for popping by. Bullseye, why the fuck are you quoting Nick Fuentes to me? What is happening? There's no fucking chance you're doing this. In unbelievable. No matter what I do, the invisibility stays on, but I can't mute it. However, as long as I attack the mirror, I lose the invisibility. Aaron, thanks, man. No, I'm just chilling. I just took a shower before stream. I've spent the past... Devil, how long ago were we in VC, and for how, like, what would you say, 3-4 hours? I've spent the last 4 hours trying to download and install a fucking game that I own. Fucking lovely. Been fucking great. No, I just took a shower. I feel good. But thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that. After Kami telling me he hates this look, I appreciate that. Bullseye, don't quote Nick Fuentes to me. What the fuck? What? No, what? They can take it away. You don't own any. Okay, bro. Okay, commie, you fucking communist. Ugh. God. I thought it was an optical invisibility like Aurora said, but it seems to be a result of mysticism. Attacking something forms a bond, rendering me invisible to its gaze. Or visible to its gaze. Lumion hovered his fist over the mirror. Nah, I agree. I actually agree with you on that one, Kami. After verifying, as soon as ownership became like licensed to use a thing until they like decide to shut off the servers or whatever, that's when it like I was like, nah, no, thank you. I agree. After especially like dog shit, like obviously I don't know anyone who fucking bought it, but like what was that fucking game that like EA made, or was it EA? Concord. Who the fuck made Concord? Like that game was like a full $60 US, like 80 Canadian dollars. And it was like a month before the fucking servers were shut down. Like, what the fuck? Obviously, I don't know any idiot who bought that. But like, dude, imagine if you had bought that and you lost access to that game after 1 month. Holy shit. Concord game? Who made it? Firewalk Studios. Who the fuck is this owned by? Sony rather. Yeah, it was like a dummy small amount of time, Bulls. I feel like it was up for like 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks they were like, hey, we're going to be shutting down servers or something. I was like, what the fuck are we or I think after 2 weeks they sent out the tweet that like after 2 weeks we'll shut down the servers or some shit. It was like the most fucking dumb thing in the universe. What? After verifying the effects of the invisibility, ravenous hunger overwhelmed him. He stomped downstairs and found 2 steaks. If not for his rationality, he would have sunk his teeth into the dark meat. Lumion abandoned the ingredients and grabbed the cheese he had stockpiled, realizing he had to fry the steak medium rare with no fire set up. With no fire set up. He didn't care if it was clean or detectable, like a ghost starving to death. He just shoved food into his mouth. After eating a few cheese slices, Lumion's hunger finally sated. Looking like this is the one downside of the monster, he evaluated. Luckily, I can still control my body and haven't lost my mind. That thing is obsessed with revenge, but overpowered by even greater fear. If I utter leave in Ancient Hermes right now, it'll bolt. Then, wait, sorry, Aaron, what's WWM? Yeah, Kami, it was like a different game. It's not technically Concord 2, but it basically like fucking where winds meet. I see. But like it basically looks like it. Like it just looks like the most fucking generic bullshit ever. And it was like, dude, what? Why the fuck would you announce this at the end of the fucking Game Awards? Sorry. Again, I don't watch the Game Awards, but like they're a big deal. A lot of people do, man. By now, Lumion was sure the monster's possession had acceptable side effects. Invisibility would be an amazing weapon. Coupled with fallen mercury, he felt his combat ability had doubled. Lumion returned to the dining table, pulled out a chair and sat down, patiently waiting for the possession to end. Soon, his spirituality nearly depleted. He didn't strain himself. He stood up and made some seemingly insane moves. The same dance as he did to attract the monsters. The purpose was to force out the creature. Without Lumion's command, the orifice monster flew out and vanished through the glass window. Don't run so fast, Lumion thought. You're acting like I have a cesspit. He knew he could maintain possession for about 3 minutes given his spirituality. However, once invisible, his consumption rate would double. Of course, this was under normal circumstances. In danger, he could strain himself to last longer, but that also risked losing control. Best avoided. Though the orifice monster had left, Lumion still felt incredibly hungry. He lit the stove and fried the steak medium well. Then, he picked up his knife and fork and quickly cut it, forked it and put it in his mouth. He felt that the juice locked in the meat was delicious. Lumion devoured 2 steaks in under 10 minutes. Looking at the empty plates, he sighed, 3 minutes of possession needs at least 2 hours to recover. This didn't only mean eradicating hunger, but also a recovery of spirituality. Lumion knew his current state wasn't fit for exploring. He found flour, sugar, and other bits using the oven to make biscuits. The free Expedition 33 DLC? No. I have not even played Expedition 33, so the DLC means very little to me. Dude, how the fuck is this possible? It still says 54 minutes. It's 40% done and it still says 54 minutes. What are we talking about? It's only $30 right now. No, Kami, I'm not downloading anything. It's installing it, so they should just be using my RAM, I think. Which, I mean, I think $30 is referring to the game itself, Kami, not the DLC. With cheese, this would be the main source of fuel in the ruins. If he had more time, he would have gotten jerky too. Food shepherds often carried. As a Cordu resident, he knew how to make them. Busy with this, Lumion pondered his dream plans. First, circle the city wall, then hunt that flaming beast. Only by ramping up his strength can I better explore and unravel the secrets of the dream. The flaming monster's strength was at least a sequence 7, and there was a high chance it was off the hunter pathway. Its various abilities perfectly squashed Lumion. He hadn't planned on dealing with that dude anytime soon, hoping to seek out prey that was weaker and on par with a provoker. And now, scoring Fallen Mercury and Invisibility had given him a certain level of hope. With his spirituality mostly recovered, Lumion placed the biscuits and the sliced cheese into a cloth pocket and slung it around his waist. He then wrapped his left hand in layers of white bandages and grabbed the Fallen Mercury. Hauling the shotgun and axe, Lumion strode to the front door with the other stuff he needed. Suddenly, he had a feeling that he was a fully armed hunter, prepared for a hunt. Many thoughts surfaced in his mind. I think, right now, once he gets the realization that, a hunter must always be prepared, sort of like a magician must never perform unprepared or whatever, it'll digest his potion to an extent. Maybe even all the way at this point. It's just a sequence 9. My first move is to track the flaming monster's movements, then I'll use invisibility to sneak up on it and stab it with Fallen Mercury. Before that, I'll hunt a weaker monster and steal its bad fate, then swap that fate with the monster's. I can't do the sacrificial dance while possessed and half-activate the Blackthorn symbol. Otherwise, the Orifice monster will bolt away from my body. So, how do I get away from that flaming monster after hurting it and wait for the fate swap to finish? It'll lock onto me quickly. Invisibility won't cut it. Lumion hadn't figured out that last part. That depended on intel. As soon as he opened the door, he had an odd feeling. If I can successfully hunt the flaming monster, my hunter potion will be fully digested. Okay, I was slightly off, but, you know. These books have a certain rhythm to it, and having had read all of Lord of the Mysteries, you get a sense for the rhythm. In the area where he'd met the flaming monster before, Lumion held back his Lumion had held back Fallen Mercury in his left hand. He carefully searched for any traces, on high alert. After circling cautiously for 10 minutes, he found signs of the flaming monster. In a collapsed house's corner, there were black scorch marks on a stone unlike any around it. Where's the one? Where there's one, there's two. Lumion tracked the monster's location and slowly followed its trail. Where the marks were fresh, he stopped and began to dance. Wait, by the way, what chapters do I need to do together for tomorrow? Is it 97 to 109? Are those the numbers? I just streamed yesterday. But too late now. So I have to go up to 96 right now. Change up title done. Lumion danced to lure in the strange creatures, his objective to use invisibility to slip closer and analyze the monster's habits and movements, gathering intel. Within a mere 20 or 30 seconds, he had used Ancient Hermes to attach the orifice monster to himself. After an overwhelming hunger consumed him, compelling him to eat, it was as if his mouth had sprouted vortex-shaped teeth. Swiftly, he stifled the ravenous and insane thoughts, pulling out a small biscuit and a cube of cheese and shoved them into his mouth. Simultaneously, he strengthened the creature's invisibility, allowing him to vanish. He quelled his hunger. Lumion tried to clamp his mouth shut to prevent the aroma of biscuits and cheese from escaping. He then trailed the flaming monster along the road's edge. Before long, Lumion spotted the monster. It was constructing a new trap. You're already a monster, yet so dedicated, Lumion thought. Naturally, he understood that this was merely an expression of the monster's instinct. Lumion dared not approach too closely. He studied the monster for a few moments before glancing back at the path he had traversed. He noticed that although his footprints were faint and concealed, they existed. Lumion hatched a plan. Closely monitoring the monster's movements, he seized a large rock and hurled it to the side. As it flew, he pressed his right hand against the decaying wall and vaulted up, securely landing atop. Crash. Lumion's actions were flawlessly masked by the sound of the rock striking the ground. Bug, how's it going? After changing his vantage point, Lumion felt much more at ease. Monitoring his dwindling spirituality, he intently observed the monster. He discerned that the flaming monster's traps were neither concealed nor challenging to find. They didn't exploit any logical vulnerabilities. They were simple and exposed. The most elementary example was the monster stretching a rope slightly above one's ankle between two buildings. Any human or monster could see this. At first, Lumion didn't get it, but after putting it in himself in the monster's position, he understood. No, it's just push down, Bug. If someone was to see like the last stream and this stream side by side, the difference in my hair was like fucking crazy. Because the sheer difference in volume is crazy. Because like my hair last time, because they're dry, I'd woken up, so they're all curly and shit. They're like fucking, they basically have an afro, and now they're like. Checking the degree. Nah, I can't. It's fine. That will probably just do it tomorrow. No, so it depends on how I feel by that time. We may go to 97, I don't know. The intent of such traps was not to harm or ensnare enemies, but to forge an environment that enabled hunters to exhibit their potential. Kami, just so I can pull it up right now, what music? In the heat of battle, one struggled to observe their environment and maintain situational awareness. Constantly distracted by these limitations, they had to slow down or alter their stance to evade traps. Hunters possess the unique ability to remain alert to their surroundings at all times. Now? What? Jesus. An open conspiracy, Lumion thought. Suddenly, he perceived the monster as a stern instructor imparting valuable lessons to him. Simultaneously, he remembered the content of Aurora's novels. Stealing from a master is punishable by death. Eventually, the monster ceased its activity, its face scanning its vicinity. Then it strode to the edge of the clearing near Lumion, flames dancing around its body. Following a predetermined route to the next location, Lumion thought? For hunters, discerning a quarry's path was invaluable. Most traps lay hidden among such routes. Although the monster ambled, it scrutinized its surroundings and examined the ground. Causing Lumion to furrow his brow, he realized that a higher sequence hunter won't be easily handled. The most effective counter to Beyonders was often... Wait, this is really loud. The most effective counter to Beyonders was often individuals or objects of the same sequence, or of the same pathway. I'm better at your strengths than you are. You may lack what I possess. If not for the dancer abilities and the fallen Mercury, Lumion wouldn't have dared to entertain taking on this monster. 7 or 8 seconds later, the monster reached the edge of the clearing, approximately 5 or 6 meters from the crumbling wall. As before, the monster's gaze roved. It paused as if observing footprints near the wall's edge. Lumine's heart pounded. He wasn't prepared to fight this monster. Despite the 5 or 6 meters between them, Lumine hesitated to kill the enemy with fallen mercury, knowing he hadn't stored any exchangeable fates. If a fight began, he'd be hunted before he could activate the Blackthorn symbol. Lumine struggled to control his heartbeat and breathing. His right hand hovered over the black cloth covering the fallen mercury, ready to tear it away. If he leapt with full force, he might reach the monster and avoid a long-range battle that favored the opponent. 2 or 3 seconds ticked by. The monster averted its gaze and moved on. Didn't seem to have noticed Lumion. After covering another 10 meters, the monster suddenly spun around, flames erupting from its body, condensing into a massive, searing white fireball. The fireball rocketed like a cannonball to the spot where Lumion had been perched atop the wall. Following his instincts, Lumion, who was atop the wall, leapt down to the other side, where the monster had laid its trap. Boom! A fiery blast erupted, causing the already unstable wall to collapse. Upon landing, Lumion rolled twice to avoid the falling debris. He sprang back up, maintaining his invisibility, as he sped through the traps left by the monster and headed to another exit. The monster couldn't detect its enemy right away, so it focused on clues. Finally, it spotted footprints. By then, Lumion had reached the rope stretched between 2 collapsed buildings, and jumped over it and fled the clearing. He shook off his pursuer. Having deactivated his invisibility, Lumion cursed. Too treacherous. Money, how's it going, man? The fog of history. Fair enough, dude. Yes, Plague, I am live. Glad to have you, Money. Glad to have you, Plague. How's it going? As Lumion cursed, he felt like he had learned something new. Wait, one of these monsters' head is worth 2 of Ponza's. After finding my footprints, it pretended not to see them to increase the distance between us, fearing I could defeat it at close range. Of course, Lumion realized he had learned something. Of course, there were drawbacks to this approach. The increased distance gave Lumion room to escape. Just finished doing stuff for the day, or the night, next I see. Furthermore, his invisibility meant the monster couldn't lock onto him right away. After catching his breath and restoring his energy, Lumion mused while eating. Based on what happened, as long as I carefully execute and strike at the right moment, I can rely on invisibility to create distance and escape to a safe location while waiting for the fate exchange to complete. Lumion's invisibility would break upon attacking, but as long as he avoided contact, he could use it again. This valuable insight emerged from his reconnaissance. We're finishing Volume 1 tomorrow, yep. However, he realized a problem. As a hunter, I didn't bring water when I went hunting in the mountains. I'm so thirsty. The jerky Lumion intended to make in the future, and the cheese and the biscuits that he had eaten all required water. After resting, he resolved to hunt the Noodleman, strip its bad fate, and store it in fallen mercury. He couldn't risk being defenseless again. A puppet's fate also belonged to the fallen mercury and could be exchanged, but Lumion wasn't a wielder. He couldn't swap his fate with the others. If he could, he'd gladly give the time bomb on him. But 30 minutes later, Lumion tracked down the Noodleman, the grotesque hodgepodge of limb and features. Having completed the ritualistic dance in advance, Lumion strolled to the Noodleman openly. As expected, the Noodleman prostrated on the ground. Very obedient, Lumion thought, gripping an iron black axe in his right hand and the fallen mercury in his left. The dream or the real world stuff at the end. We will see, Plague. We will see. I think I will be more excited for the real world stuff, at least just, you know, without knowing what the real world stuff is, just because I want to see, like, what's been happening in the last couple of years. What has the Tarot Club been up to, you know? Did the Church of the Fool become, like, a big thing? Is it still pretty niche? I'm so curious. Lumion glowered over the pathetic Noodleman. According to Aurora, death is a mercy for your kind. The sooner you die, the sooner your suffering ends. As he spoke, he plunged the dagger deep into the back of Noodleman's neck. Noodleman spasmed, but didn't resist or struggle. Lumion wrenched the dirk free and gripped his axe, swinging the weapon down. The axe cleaved through the flesh and bone, sending Noodleman's head tumbling across the ground. Noodleman twitched for a bit, but became lifeless at last. Lumion strode over to the head and retrieved fallen Mercury with his left hand. In the fleeting second between breaths, an illusory river shimmered before his eyes. The river seemed to be constructed with intricate Mercury symbols, and each symbol formed by the river itself. Wait, a river of Mercury. Could that be like the River of Fate, maybe? And then the Snake of Fate, the Snake of Mercury would be referring to like a snake that is able to swim through the River of Fate. Am I on crack? Does any of that make any sense? Did anyone catch my drift? I feel like what I said was really clever, but it also might have been the dumbest thing a human's ever uttered. I don't know. At once, the river's branches disappeared, leaving not only the primary current, it fractured midway and kinked as if it wanted to double back its source, but for now, could not prevail. Stripping Fate. Oh, are we killing this bitch? Can I change the music back now, Kami, or should I just keep this? If you compare this to the Storm Axe, this is also true. Keep it? Okay. Lumion couldn't grasp the meaning of the river he saw or sensed. All he could surmise was that it symbolized fate. Guided by the fallen Mercury's instincts, he lifted the blade's tip and aimed it at the Mercury symbol in the river. As soon as he made contact with the river, a series of scenes flashed through Lumion's mind. Noodleman doing the dance, cowering before the symbol, prostrating, gathering the scattered flesh and blood throughout the dreams to satiate its hunger, attempting to approach the city wall circle, but retreating each time as it feared something, its head being severed by an axe. Is this its entire existence in the loop, Lumion thought? Lumion realized this as he tried to stab the tip of the fallen Mercury at the Mercury symbol representing Noodleman's demise, the end of the river. It was too immense and heavy for him to succeed. At this moment, the symbol began to dissipate and the river began to fade. There's a time limit? Adhering to the principle of proximity, he aimed the dagger at Noodleman's fate of succumbing to the Blackthorn symbol. Okay, sounds good, Kami. The Mercury symbol seemingly formed by the river's entanglement was pried open, condensing into a droplet seeping into the blade. In the next instant, the illusory river vanished entirely, preventing Lumion from witnessing Noodleman's fate again. He glanced down at the fallen Mercury and noticed the heretic symbol on the pewter black blade undulating like water. They'd been mesmerizing from the start, but now they appeared even more sinister. Success, Lumion thought. The fallen Mercury was now complete. In the future, as long as he wound the flaming monster with this blade, he could swap the monster's fate of cowering before the Blackthorn symbol with the former. So what Klein has to do is stab the pyromancer, run away, activate the symbol, go back, and then he'll just be like prostrating, and then he can just kill him. Okay. After this, Lumion circled back to where the monster had appeared. This time, he didn't approach for observation. Instead, he searched for footprints and other traces, taking time to identify which one the target left while deliberately circling around. After nearly 2 hours, Lumion deciphered the monster's habits and patterns. A mental hunting map had appeared. He spent time surveying the predetermined battlefields, seeking natural traps to exploit. Lumion remained vigilant and performed the sacrificial dance again, partly triggering the blackthorn symbol. With the amulet in hand, Lumion followed the same path as before. He encountered monsters, but they either fled before attacking or vanished. The deeper he went, the same things happened. Finally, when the burning sensation in his chest subsided, Lumion spotted the city wall. He rested for a while, waiting for his spirituality to recover before performing the sacrificial dance again. Does all of this kind of remind anyone of, like, Klein in the Forsaken Land of the Gods? Like, you know, just walking around, monsters everywhere, but they're like running away from him because he's a sequence 3 monster, and they're all like, oh, I'm not fucking fighting that guy. And Klein is like, listen, they say it's so fucking scary around here. I've been walking for like 400 miles. No one's ever heckled me. This place is fantastic. He rested for a while, waiting for his spirituality to recover before doing the dance again. After the dance, sometimes forceful, sometimes graceful, Lumion headed in the direction where he had found the blade, and with the blackthorn symbol active. After passing through the room where the flames had been extinguished, he slowed his pace. After walking, Lumion noticed the light ahead had dimmed considerably, as if a massive creature had blocked out the light, or the sun was obscured. Lumion looked up, but saw only thick fog. Unable to determine the cause, he could only draw his blade and proceed cautiously. Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate you popping by. How was work? Do pop in tomorrow, though. We're gonna do another morning stream tomorrow for the volume ender, so do pop in tomorrow if you can. Unable to determine the cause, he could only draw his blade and proceed. In a moment, it felt as if he had transitioned from day to night. Morning or noon? When is the... Yes, I will schedule... You know what, fuck it. Let me just... No, I'm gonna do it after because I need to... I will... no, sorry. I'm not gonna schedule it right now because I need to make the thumbnail for it, but I will schedule it, promise. It will be noon my time, though, so whatever that is. So you guys want to know, that is in 15 hours, almost exactly. Minus 8 minutes, but 15 hours, basically. Unable to, wait, in a moment, it felt as if it had transitioned from day to night. Of course, it was an exaggeration. Lumion thought it was more accurate to liken the foggy weather to a place shrouded in dark clouds. Almost simultaneously, he yawned, his exhaustion intensifying. No, I can't sleep. Lumion forced himself to keep his eyes awake as he retreated to the shadowy base of the mountain. His mental state improved. Although he was still tired, he could manage it. You fall asleep the moment you enter. The deeper you go, the sleepier you become, Lumion thought. After another sacrificial dance, he arrived at an unfamiliar route. To his right were walls stacked with doors and windows. To his left, a wasteland connected to the circle of building ruins, and ahead stood brown trees. In the ruins, the trees seemed incredibly resilient, intertwined and embracing each other, forming a wooden wall. This wall had numerous green leaves and branches, a stark contrast to the deathly silence and desolation around it. If it hadn't blocked the path to the back of the city wall, Lumion might have praised its tenacious vitality, but now he could only express its dissatisfaction with it by raising 2 middle fingers. He could have chosen to take a detour and enter through the other side of the ruins, but he wasn't familiar with that area, and his spirituality was nearly depleted, so there was no need to take that risk. Lumion yawned, his chest still burning, as he retraced his steps. As Lumion awoke, the first light of dawn had crept through the thick curtains, casting an outline of his desk, chair, wardrobe, and other furnishings. still early, he thought, glancing over at Aurora. Aurora's blonde hair lay strewn across the white pillow, her eyes closed peacefully. Her right hand gripped the edge of the blanket, occasionally attempting to turn over but stopping instinctively. Lumion had a good idea why his sister was like this. She had numerous bottles within her nightgown as a precaution. Sleeping on her side would cause them to shatter. How exhausting, Lumion thought. After a moment, he slid out of bed and left the bedroom. He moved to the side balcony that led to the rooftop, facing the distant crimson sky. Within a minute, Valentine also emerged from his room. "Are you also greeting the sun?" he asked. "Can I say no?" "That's right," Lumion smiled. Satisfied, Valentine stepped onto the balcony and stood tall, facing the sun. "Praise the sun," Valentine said. Lumion mimicked the gesture as he had no other choice. "Praise the sun." Valentine lowered his arms and crossed them over on his chest. After a moment, he opened his eyes and said, "If the lupus are resolved successfully, I will introduce you to the Bishop of Dariege. Or would you prefer Bigor?" "I prefer Trier. But where I go isn't up to me, it's up to my sister," Lumion said, smiling. Valentine nodded and changed the subject. He turned back and began patrolling. Nothing happened until 8. The pair went downstairs and prepared breakfast. Soon after, Ryan joined them to help. Leia woke up just before 9, leaving Aurora just as still asleep. "Any plans for today?" Ryan asked. "We should leave someone at home," Lumion said. "Aurora can't be left to face a potential foe alone. The remaining 2 will accompany me to stock up on food and fetch some water. We must hold out until the 12th night." Cordu lacked a proper water supply. Aurora had installed a water tank on the roof during her renovations. As long as it was regularly filled and disinfected, it was as good as having running water. "Yes, we need to do all of this before Lent," Ryan agreed. "By the way, you should visit Madame Polly and ask if she can help us investigate the dead warlock and the owl." Leia said, I'll stay with Aurora." "No problem," Lumion agreed. With no other choice, the 2 men acquiesced to visit the administrator's residence that morning. Following breakfast, the trio exited the home and made their way to the old tavern, passing the shepherd along the way. Lumion's heart raced as he suggested to Ryan and Valentine, "Let's check on the 3 sheep." He recalled the bleating he had heard last night. Understanding his meaning, Ryan and Valentine offered no objections. They circled to the rear of the Berries' home, only to find it empty. The sheep were gone. They killed the sheep, man. They killed them. I'm telling you, they killed him. Benitez? I don't know what it is today. It's only 9 p.m. and I'm so sleepy. I'm like, damn, I should go to bed. I'm like, I slept okay today. I slept okay last night, I think. Yeah, just sleepy. Also didn't go to the gym today, so maybe that's why. Yeah. See, my hair is already starting to no, motherfucker, go back. It's starting to dry, so it's starting to get curly again. No, motherfucker. Damn it. Yeah, no, I'm good, Kami, but I appreciate it. Thanks, bud. Gazing at the empty sheep, pen littered with hay and dung, Ryan asked, did they really fix the underground altar so quickly? Maybe these heretics have some special powers, Valentine said. They suspected the 3 sheep had been taken for a sacrifice. As Lumion listened to the conversation, he remembered the sound of the sheep's bleating last night. Could it have been one of the sheep being sacrificed, he thought? He shared his suspicions with Ryan and Valentine. That seems unlikely, Ryan said. The cathedral is hundreds of meters from your house, and the altar's underground. What he meant was that even with a hunter's hearing, it was impossible to hear that. Lumion shared that doubt, but couldn't explain the bleating he had heard. and the burning sensation that appeared in his chest when this blackthorn symbol partially activated. There was no way to fake that. Burning sensation. Lumien's heart raced, recalling something Fours had said. It doesn't say Fours, it says the mysterious woman, but it's Fours, okay. Pray to yourself. The principle of proximity. But thinking back to the ritual that invoked the dancer's power and the blackthorn symbol, he formed a hypothesis. He heard the sheep bleating during the sacrifice because of mysticism. Simply, when the Padre and his group performed their ritual and prayed to the hidden being, the principle of proximity also targeted the corruption in Lumien, triggering the symbol. As a result, Lumien could faintly hear the sheep's cries from afar. Money, what's up? Him being unable to respond or knowing how, with the corruption now sealed by the owner of the bluish-black pattern, the Padre's ritual ultimately contacted the hidden entity. Yes. After the ritual, there's some lore stuff you might want to look at in the server. Okay. Like, Dara's server? Whose server? What are we talking about? The TTRPG? Oh, the TTRPG. Got it. Okay. Yeah, no worries. I'll check it out. Thanks, buddy. The principle of proximity targeted the corruption in Lumien's chest, triggering the blackthorn symbol. As a result, Lumien could hear the sheep's cries from afar. Him being unable to respond or knowing how, with the corruption now sealed by the owner of the bluish-black pattern, the Padre ultimately contacted the hidden entity. After the ritual, the sensation in Lumien's chest faded. It seems no invisible, strange power had invaded Aurora's room last night. The anomaly in my body was just half-activated by the ritual. At that moment, Ryan warned his companions. It seems our investigation of the cathedral's underground has alarmed the Padre and his people. They have found a way to repair the altar and pray for strength quicker. For now, we need to be extra vigilant. Don't assume things will only turn dangerous as Lent approaches. If I weren't worried about restarting the loop, I'd have already killed them, Valentine spat. Can you stop calling that servant of the evil god a Padre? He is not worthy. He wasn't afraid to voice his thoughts, but wanting to maintain his image in Valentine's Valentine's eyes, he kept silent. After all, he might need to persuade this fanatic to do something later, like using his suicide to verify the essence of the cycle. Let's visit Madame Polly as soon as possible to replenish our supplies. We should stay inside as much as possible we can from now on. Lumien said nothing more, leaving Shepherd Pierre Berry's house through the back door and heading to the castle on the hill. Music changed at the end of this chapter. You didn't change the number? Oh fuck, it's 93. And is it a walls closing in again, Kami? Passing through the vibrant garden, the trio approached the partially open door and informed the manservant, "We need to see Madame Polly." "Wait a moment," the valet said. Soon after, the pale-faced midwife appeared. Compared to last time, her face was even paler. Had Lumien not informed Ryan and Valentine that the midwife had died? But they had seen plenty of things before. The Solarhide priest specialized in zombies and such matters. Valentine had purified dozens of similar cases. But it was beyond their understanding how a person diced into pieces could revert to their original appearance and seem more alive than dead. The midwife spoke. "The madam does not wish to see you. Please leave." "We have urgent matters," Lumien said. "Isn't Madame Polly concerned that the person underground will disrupt her plans?" "Madam says it won't affect her." Hearing this, a chill ran down Lumien's spine. It meant they would have a hard time getting Polly's help again. Lumien smiled without displaying frustration or disappointment. "But we may explore the tomb," he said. He implied that during the exploration, either side could encounter trouble, restarting the loop prematurely. Unfazed, the midwife said, "You can try, but you will only be disappointed." What is she talking about? Lumien didn't get Polly's message. Does she mean they can explore all they want, and even if she did offer help, they wouldn't be able to find anything? The more Lumien thought, the more he doubted that was her meaning. Otherwise, she wouldn't have refused their meeting. Before Lumien could consider, Ryan said, "Is Polly trying to tell us that the person in the tomb can easily control us and prevent our investigation without triggering the loop?" "Yes," the midwife said, as it turned around and entered back into the castle. I'm actually having a stroke. Everyone looked around, feeling helpless, and left. Their next stop was the old tavern, where they could purchase provisions and wine. Compared to the potable water that easily spoiled, wine was more stable. Entering the old tavern, Lumien scanned the room and didn't spot the mysterious woman. Disappointed, he looked at the bar counter and told the owner what they needed. "Where's the other lady?" Lumien asked. "I don't know. Maybe she's in the room, maybe somewhere in the village, or maybe Liège. She rented the room until the 9th. She's free to do as she pleases." The 9th? The 12th night? April 9th was the so-called 12th night that he and Aurora had deduced. He also confirmed that March 29th was indeed the loop's first day. If Ryan and the other foreigners hadn't entered Cordu on a particular cycle's first day, the loop would have immediately restarted. Damn, Lumien's thought. My stomach's acting up. I need to use the restroom. Can you tell them to wait for me?" Maurice's expression seemed to say, "What the fuck are you up to now? Don't mess with me," he said. The downside of having a really bad reputation rears its head once again, Lumien thought. "Don't worry, I'm just really using the restroom." As he spoke, he waved and ran up the stairs. He wanted to use the restroom, but he was heading for the one upstairs. Maurice glanced at his retreating figure and said, "Spring is here, and this scoundrel's hormones are raging." Is Maurice trying to imply that he's, like, horny for the mysterious woman, basically? Upon reaching the second floor, Lumien approached the restroom and positioned himself in front of the mysterious lady's room. He knocked on the door. No answer. Noticing the Do Not Disturb sign, Lumien knocked again and again and again, but the lady never showed. Lumien pondered for a moment before producing a slim wire and jimmying it in the keyhole, opening the door, revealing an empty room. Noticing the absence of a Do Not Disturb sign. Sorry, I just read Do Not Disturb. Sorry. The bed's blanket lay neatly folded, as though no one had occupied the space recently. Lumien exhaled quietly and closed the door without going deeper inside. In the afternoon, the siblings congregated in Aurora's bedroom under the guise of instructing Lumien in the arts of Hermes. Lumien kept his voice low as he recounted his excursion into the dream ruins in the previous night. At last he inquired, "Anything to add about hunting the monster?" Though he was armed with the fallen Mercury and invisibility, his confidence still remained low. It was a sequence of the hunter pathway that had experienced a qualitative change. "You've covered all the bases. The only thing I can add is... break a leg!" Lumien felt defeated by his sister's jest. But the tension in his chest subsided. Aurora chuckled and said, "What remains are some cliched words. Be careful, and be very fucking careful." It's a shame that lady isn't here. I would have crafted some simple supplementary talisman along with the integrity brooch. You could have brought them in your dream. That's true. Lumien felt disappointed. But he wasn't disheartened. He had no intention of giving up. At 9:50, Lumion slid out of Aurora's bedroom and stalked down the hallway towards the washroom. He intended to relieve himself before the beginning of his night watch. Bathed in the crimson glow of the moon, the washroom was shrouded in darkness, only the toilet faintly visible. Lumion bent over and unfastened his belt. Behind him, the shadow on the wall writhed and morphed into a silhouette, brandishing an axe high above its head. Relieve himself, yeah? Just meaning like he needed to go to the washroom. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I know this is a bad moment, but I need to go take a piss. I too need to go relieve myself. Hopefully I don't get attacked with a fucking egg. I'll be right back, okay? uh, bear with me for 2 more seconds. Okay, we're good. Holy shit, just in the span of like 10 minutes, my hair's gotten so curly that it's fully dried up. This is so cooked. Where the fuck is the music turned? Alright, let's go. Lumen's eyes narrowed, his body tensing as he sensed the pores on his skin open. An overwhelming premonition of danger washed over him. In the dream ruins, he had no shortage of similar experiences. Instantly, he halted and tumbled to the side. A whistling wind filled his ears as razor-sharp axes grazed his body, slicing through the air. Lumen hit the ground with a thud, attempting to roll to his feet. But pale white and pitch black, eerie arms extended from all the shadows, grabbing his clothes and coiling around him. A cold sensation and stiffness seeped into Lumen's flesh. Twisting wildly, trying to escape, with his powerful agility, he shouted, "Help!" Two malicious bumpy palms smothered his mouth, stifling his voice abruptly, leaving only a whimper. Simultaneously, Lumen glimpsed an elongated humanoid shadow on the wall, raising an axe at him. Clang! A two-handed broadsword of light blocked the axe's slash. My goat. Ryan was the first to rush over, not bothering with his dawn armor, simply summoning the Sword of Dawn. Bro got attacked in the Fool's Kingdom. Oh my god. So theoretically, the place where Klein would be strongest in the universe would be in the bathroom inside of Sephira Castle. The Sephira Castle being the Lord of Mysteries domain. The bathroom being the Fool's domain. So he's like powered up to the he's powered up squared basically. Bathroom of domain squared. Yes, okay, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you, Lubion. His shadowy axe took a heavy, sharp, and dark appearance the moment it detached from the wall. The second person to arrive was Leia, who had been in the opposite study, the silver bells on her veil and boots tinkling. Leia raised her right palm and aimed at her silver revolver at the strange arms grabbing Lumion. Do you think Lumion has his dick out right now? This is a serious question, okay? You guys can laugh or whatever. I'm like curious. Like as Leia's like grabbing him, trying to take him like, you know, out of the danger or whatever, is his dick out right now? Serious question. Leia raised her right palm. Yes, thank you. That is the only correct answer, money. No one else gets it. Sad. Leia raised her right palm and aimed the silver revolver at the strange arms grabbing Lumion. They tightened as if trying to drag Lumion into the shadows. Blue blood vessels bulged from Lumion's neck, forehead, and arms, straining with all his might. Yet he couldn't fend off the arms. His body dissolved into the shadows piece by piece. Bang! Leia fired a golden bullet, wrapping in blazing flames, and struck a pitch-black arm that seemed to drip ink. The arm ignited, releasing Lumion's neck and retreating into the shadows. Aurora then arrived in the washroom to find such a scene. Seeing a third of her brother's body thinned and darkened into a shadow, his expression growing increasingly rigid, Aurora wasted no time. She pulled iron-black materials from her hidden pocket and sprinkled the powder at Lumion. Lumion felt an invisible hand grasp him and pull him towards Aurora. He recalled his sister using a similar spell before, but it had pushed him away. This time, it yanked him close. The colossal hand's strength equated to that of the sinister arms, stopping Lumion's slide into the shadows. Ryan drove the figure with the sharp axe back into the wall. The next second, Valentine appeared behind Leia and Aurora. Witnessing Lumion's state, he spread his arms wide. Golden illusory flames materialized around Lumion, incinerating the arms. The pitch black or the pale white arms either melted like candles or evaporated into wisps of black smoke. Within seconds, 80% of the arms grabbing Lumion vanished. The remaining arms struggled to resist the invisible hand and Lumion's efforts, releasing him one by one. Feeling the grip on him loosen, Lumion was pulled by the invisible hand, the half flying and half pouncing towards Aurora. I've never slept in the bathroom, so I can't speak to that, but I gotta imagine that's gotta suck. It's like that scene in Dispatch or whatever where like you kill that guy and they're like, hey, like, should we like, and he was like peeing or whatever, so he's exposed, and they're like, hey, should we like put it away? You know, kind of feels like not a nice thing to just leave him like this. Hi, Dr. Z. What a bad time for you to walk in. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, no worries. You're good. As the pitch no, wait, hold on. Lumion stood there, surveying the area, sneering. Is that it? Aren't you looking down on us by only sending one person? Aurora said, don't speak. How could he utter such an ill-omened word at a time like this? As Aurora's voice echoed in the corridor, a black, spiked vine, abnormally thick, as if from the abyss, descended from the study's ceiling. And its top bloomed a massive, blood-red flower. The flower expanded, as if stretching its mouth to its limit. Lumion's a fucking idiot, yeah. As it chewed, the object in its mouth turned into a thin piece of paper and was shredded. Immediately after, the radiant broadsword of light flew from the washroom, impaling the massive evil flower to the wall. Streams of bright red blood oozed from the sword, evaporating. Simultaneously, tendrils of black vines cascaded from the ceiling of Lumion's residence, enveloping the wall and sealing the windows. Aurora swiftly produced a pearl-like powder and tossed it into the air, mingling it with summoned natural forces. Aaron, in fairness, that was a pretty fucking dumb thing to do, man. The wilted vines dangled lifelessly. Not bad, Aurora thought. She had obtained the spell from a member of the curly-haired baboon society, intending to use it as a gardening spell for weeding. Aurora had acquired it at a bargain price, thinking it might be useful someday. Typically, it was used to clear weeds from the building walls, but today it proved invaluable. Nonetheless, the abyssal black vines were unnaturally resilient. They merely withered and didn't die instantly. This bought time for Valentine, who had summoned golden and illusory fire of light to incinerate the vile creatures. Orion then flooded the area with the purest sunrise gleam, banishing all evil and obliterating all illusion. Confronted with this situation, he was powerless, and Lumion stifled his urge to perform the enigmatic dance, observing his sister and the outsiders to collaborate and eradicate the enemy. Soon the vines and the flowers disintegrated into smoke, but Leia's veil and silver bells continued to jingle, signaling that danger still lurked. Lumion sniffed the air and said that it doesn't smell right. A faint, sweet scent lingered. I feel dizzy and want to go to bed, Leia said. The fumes from the vines and the flowers contained an anesthetic. How sinister! Aurora acted promptly. She produced a handful of transparent powder and scattered it forward. A fierce wind materialized out of nowhere, gusting through every corner of the room, or the second floor. Everyone dashed into separate rooms, throwing open the windows that had been sealed by the vines. As the innocuous wind subsided, Aurora turned to Lumion and inquired, "And now?" Lumion sniffed. "Don't smell it anymore." I feel better too, Leia said. At that moment, the silver bells ceased their movements. The crisis was averted. A probing attack by the Padre and Company, Aurora thought? Could be Guillaume Benet, who just received a boon, or the already powerful Shepherd. Ryan surveyed the area and said, whichever the case, we must heighten our vigilance. From now on, we split into 2 groups for shifts. We alternate between resting and standing guard, day or night. No problem, Aurora and Lumion said. I'll be in the same group as my brother. No one objected. Over the next few days, the groups maintained a watchful eye in 6-hour rotation. Although nothing happened, as Lent drew closer, they all felt the impending danger. During this period, Lumion continued exploring. He didn't immediately hunt the monster. Instead, he suppressed his impatience and sought to understand the creature's movements. With his invisibility and with its invisibility, long-range tracking, daily observation, and ample patience, Lumion gleaned the information he desired. The flaming monster would set traps in the dream clearing each morning, practicing techniques it had mastered for 40 to 90 minutes, and then followed a fixed route to a flesh-strewn area to replenish its energy. Valentine's expression softened at Lumion's choice of words. Autumn, how's it going, man? Long time no see. Holy shit. Its afternoon activities were unpredictable, mainly patrolling its area via different paths. Lumion had yet to discern its criteria for choosing a route. In the evening, it would retrace its fixed routes and re-enter the hunting zone. Lumion remained ignorant of its nocturnal activities. Oh, I see. Thanks, Kami. He had only spent a maximum of 6 hours in the Dream Ruins and never ventured there at night. The night before Lent, Lumion jolted awake in the hazy grey fog of the dreamscape bedroom, glancing at the blade beside him as his mind snapped awake. This was the night he would hunt the flaming monster. Let's go! Let's fucking go, baby. So he's gonna do this. Kill his, fully digest his potion, get a sequence 7 and 8, obviously, and 9, technically, I guess, characteristic. Nice, nice, nice. My boy's about to become richy rich. The stream is truly peak. Nah, money. We're having a good time, man. Who do you think is the richest out of all the Orthodox gods? You gotta imagine it's the Lord of Storm, right? They have like pirate ships. You gotta imagine those guys are making fucking bank. Plus they're old, right? Like they were old, not like the Evernight Church, which only came across in like the third epoch or whatever, or the fourth epoch. EBS wants gold for everything in his domain. Sun, because he's the god of business. This is true. Okay, maybe EBS, but I was thinking like Storm, because they got fucking pirate ships like Alger, bro. You gotta imagine those motherfuckers are making bank. Lumion meticulously wrapped his left hand in layers of white bandages, gathering his supplies. Who's the poorest god? You gotta imagine it's the fucking Earth Mother. Klein? Okay, thanks, Kami. He gathered his supplies: fallen mercury, axe, amber perfume, biscuits, cheese, mine chops, rope, boiled water, shotgun, and left his home. Through the thin grey fog, he ventured into the barren wasteland riddled with cracks, entering the dreamlike ruins and strode forward. Hearing a distant noise, Lumion veered towards the path he anticipated the creature would take, arriving at the natural trap he had discovered. A deep pit lay beside the road, with collapsed walls to the front and left, stacked rocks bordered the right side, and behind it, a mostly collapsed house. Where's God to be God of Combat? Fucking fraud? Nah, God of Combat I don't think would be that poor. I feel like it's gotta be the Earth Mother. She'd be like you gotta imagine, the Earth Mother is all like hippie and communist, and she's like, no, I don't believe in money. You should give it to your fucking neighbor, and you know, I don't need it. Yeah. Blech. Cringe. A deep pit lay beside... No, already read this. Such a trap was difficult to spot. Lumion found it only after scouring the area multiple times. He crouched behind the pit, tossing it in the sharpened wooden stakes. Oh, Kami, it was never said. Let me be clear. I'm making my assumptions based on hippies, okay? Earth Mother slander? Hell yeah. And crouch behind the pit, tossing in a few sharpened wooden stakes, he covered it with a rope net he'd woven earlier and camouflaged it with soil. With a simple trap set, he laid his bait, 2 blood-soaked lamb chops, half on the solid ground and half suspended above the pit. Lumion stepped back, assessing the precarious balance. He retreated into the mostly collapsed house, perching himself atop the outer wall. She's the vampire ancestor? Those motherfuckers are rich? That's true, but vampires are rich. You gotta remember, you gotta think about this. Because like in every interpretation ever, why is a vampire rich? Vampires are rich because they're old as fuck. Wealth is even like IRL, wealth is a function of time, okay? Who has like most of the money? Like fucking 60-year-olds. Like, yeah, you'll have money when you're 60, but like, I don't want to be 60, right? So, like, the fact that you can live to like 300 or however fucking old sanguines live to is the reason they're wealthy. It's not because they're like, whatever. They're literally just working regular jobs, but for 300 years. He adjusted his position to watch the trap without being seen by passing monsters. He then took out the amber perfume and sprayed it on the wall, a delicate sweet scent wafting through the air, carried by the sporadic gusts of wind. The fragrance clung to the wall and to Lumion. Without hesitation, he leapt away, looping back to the path where the flaming monster would appear, positioning himself close to the hunting ground. Once more, he changed direction, crossing the path and entering the ruins of an opposite building. Reaching the rear of the crumbling structure, he stopped, leaned against the wall, and waited. And with his strategy against the shotgun monster, Lumion never expected his trap to fool the flaming monster or wound it. These decoys and alarms targeted the creature's keen senses, observation, and behavior. Only a hunter knew how to exploit a hunter. Of course, all this relied on the target operating primarily on instinct and its intelligence being limited to combat. Leaning against the wall, Lumion gripped the blade in his hand, tearing off the pitch-black cloths shrouding its surface. He couldn't know how long it would take for the flaming monster to arrive. He had to be patient. Patience was his strong suit, a remnant from his vagrant days. Walls closing in, or do I just fight music? What am I putting on? Father Gascon. Let's go, baby. Oh, that's a good choice, Kami. That's a good fucking choice. I was gonna suggest putting on Orphan of Cause if it was just fight music. But this is good too. Time crawled forward. Unseen by Lumion, a charred, flame-tinged monster emerged. After walking over 20 meters, its nose twitched. It detected the faint scent of blood. The monster didn't immediately turn. As it continued, it serendipitously scanned the source of the smell. Passing the collapsed wall and the bloody lamb chop caught its eye. Tempting food, but the flaming monster resisted its instinct. It pressed on, slowing its pace. Soon, the fragrance filled its nostrils. It deduced the meat was a trap and a hunter lay in ambush. This hunter seemed different from the one who had previously observed it invisible. It lacked sufficient knowledge of hunters and hadn't masked its scent before. Taking a few steps, the monster used the fragrance and subtle footprints to pinpoint the enemy hiding on the outer wall. Feigning ignorance, it increased its distance by another 7 or 8 meters. Suddenly it whirled around, scarlet flames descending into a fireball. Boom! With a flick of its right palm, the fireball hurtled to Lumien's ambush position, collapsing the outer wall and causing the house to shudder. Hearing the explosion from a distance, Lumien abandoned his hiding spot, darting into the clearing, his movements a wild, distorted dance. The explosion was like a signal flare, a stark reminder for him to swiftly ready the second phase of the trap. Lumien and Aurora had devised this intricate plan, luring their prey into sending out their own signal flares. In the midst of his mesmerizing dance, Lumien detected the hazy form of the mouth orifice monster, the shotgun monster, and the skinless monster. By then, the flaming monster had already approached the collapsed wall, searching for any trace of its enemy. Lumien danced for another 10 to 20 seconds, his movements growing more and more intense. He drew out the silver dagger in his right hand, making a small incision on his wrist. A small drop of blood emerged, congealing into a tiny sphere. Lumien stepped forward, pivoted, and snatched the blood droplet, aiming it at the monster. I. He uttered the word in ancient Hermes. At that moment, the monster had discovered the faint footprints Lumien left behind, catching a whiff of its scent. Shouting at his follow-up command, Lumien watched the monster swallowed up by the blood droplet from the tip of the dagger enter his body. A wave of madness, bloodthirst, cruel intent, and hunger washing over him. Lumien fought back the discomfort, hastily bandaging his insignificant wound with white strip he had brought along. Next, he popped a piece of cheese into his mouth, swallowing, to make sure the residual grey amber scent on his body would mask any mingled odors. Throughout this process, Lumien sprinted to the edge of the road and halted in an inconspicuous spot, clenching his jaw tight and spinning around, carefully retracing his steps along the previous path. Relying on his hunter's observation skills and dancer's exaggerated flexibility, Lumien made sure only to leave faint footprints and no additional marks. It wasn't long before he had reached the center of the road and stopped. Maintaining his invisibility, Lumien remained in plain sight on the road. He waited, using shallow cogitation and constant suspension to suppress any thoughts of attacking the flaming monster. A rudimentary way to interrupt its danger premonition. His inspiration came from a hunter's keen self-awareness. Aurora had once written about the tactic of retracing one's footsteps to lay in ambush mid-road in a novel. 7 or 8 seconds later, the flaming monster's pitch-black form appeared in Lumien's sight. Utilizing his uncanny flexibility, he twisted his body to observe the approaching target. The monster followed the footprints and the scent left behind by the enemy. Uninterrupted, it continued its pursuit. Once back on the road, it sniffed the air, unsurprised to detect a mild fragrance. It instinctively lowered its head and found the inconspicuous footprints. But it found no trace of the traps in the vicinity. Without hesitation, the monster tracked the footprints to the other side of the road. His charred face and displaced eyeballs looming larger and clearer in Lumien's eyes. Holding his breath, Lumien didn't disrupt his cogitation, striving to empty his mind. 5 meters. 3. 1. He lunged at his target with the blade in hand for a swift slash. He didn't wait to close the gap any further, fearing that it would trigger the enemy's prey danger sense and prompt evasive maneuvers. The monster felt an overwhelming sense of danger. Without thinking, it jumped to the side. Simultaneously, his vision captured Lumien's figure, attacking it with a black dagger in his bandaged left hand. They were so close that despite the monster's reaction, evasion was impossible. Lumien collided with it. With a tearing sound, the fallen mercury blade sank into the monster's chest. The fate extracted from the Noodle Man infiltrated the target's body as an illusory mercury bead. Meanwhile, a river of countless intricate mercury symbols briefly surfaced. Some of the destinies rapidly converged towards the black blade. Lumion didn't bother selecting the destiny to exchange, letting the blade do as it wished. Boom! The monster's flame erupted. A forceful shockwave hurled Lumion and the blade away. Crimson flames ignited his clothes and scorched his facial skin. Lumion bore the searing pain, twisting his waist mid-air to alter his trajectory. As soon as he landed, he sprang to his feet and ran away. However, unable to re-enter the invisibility state until the flames were extinguished, he remained visible. Boom! Despite his sprint, Lumion was still knocked off his feet by the fireball's aftershock, his back throbbing with pain. He struggled to his feet, scrambling away from the path into the ruins where he had hid before. The monster pursuing Lumion was unable to turn invisible once again. I will say, I like to think my voice acting skills have gotten better. Call me crazy. No, money, where's it gone? The flaming monster pursued relentlessly, hurling crimson fireballs that blasted craters in the earth. Lumion was thrown off balance several times. Flames licked at the charred logs that littered the desolate landscape, casting flickering red light in every direction. Lumion barely spared a thought for the fire still consuming his clothes. Gritting his teeth against the searing pain, he was sent sprawling by the shockwave of detonation after detonation. He staggered to his feet and ran wildly towards his destination, veering left, then right, arching, then darting straight ahead. Mercifully, he didn't have far to go based on his plan. Just as he felt the taste of blood in his mouth and his body threatened to give out, a dilapidated building loomed before him. Lumion contorted his body mid-stride and narrowly avoiding a fireball. The scarlet projectile exploded just ahead, unleashing a hellish maelstrom of flames. Seizing the moment, Lumion dropped to the ground and rolled beneath the worst of the conflagration. What the actual fuck is conflagration? Conflagration. Is this a bad time to be looking up words? Probably, but fuck you. Well, conflagration, an extensive fire which destroys a great deal of land or property. Thank you. Seizing the moment, Lumion dropped to the ground and rolled beneath the worst of the conflagration. With the momentum, he tumbled into the partially collapsed structure. The monster halted and hesitated, wary of pursuing its target into a potential death trap. It watched as Lumion rolled deeper into the building, summoning a swarm of fire ravens around it. Oh. Thank you. Their screeches filled the air as they took flight. Half of them, fucking music changed? No? Oh no, it didn't. Summoning a swarm of fire, half of them dove towards the building support beams while the other bore down on Lumion. These avian flames were unerring, constantly adjusting their trajectories to match Lumion's movements. In that instant, that monster could see almost all of its enemies' charger mains. Fire ravens were far more difficult to dodge than fireballs. But then, Lumion disappeared. He rolled into a well-preserved basement. Bang! Lumion slammed the wooden door shut and leapt aside, using the force of the impact. The Scarlet Raven slammed into the door over and over, the heavy door disintegrating. The remaining Fire Ravens struck their intending target, intending to bring down the decaying structure. Its wood, stone, and dust engulfed the area, entombing the basement. Lumion, however, had already taken refuge in the corner, using the accumulated dirt to smother the flames that clung to him. He was badly injured, his internal organs battered by the force of the explosions. Without swift medical attention, he wouldn't last another day. The flaming monster's attacks have been devastating, even more potent than Ryan sans his hurricane of light. Lumion had intended to use his invisibility to elude the flaming monster, slipping into the basement to perform his enigmatic sacrificial dance, activating the Blackthorn symbol on his chest to terrify his foe. He planned to bide his time for the fallen Mercury to complete his exchange of fate, but the persistent flame thwarted his invisibility, nearly costing him his life. The one consolation was that he had a backup plan in the event that he couldn't escape, or do his sacrificial dance in peace. He'd even considered collapsing the building to bury the basement and buy time, but the monster had done that job for him. Lumion exhaled and sat cross-legged, retrieving the bottle of grey amber from a drawer, unscrewing the cap and placing it before him. Outside the building, the flaming monster's gaze cut through the swirling dust, searching for any trace of its quarry. It was certain that the cunning intruder wouldn't have been buried alive so easily. So really, Lumion at this point just needs to buy time, right? Because the fate of the monster is being swapped already. So if he just buys enough time, he just gets it. I'm really sorry for whatever... I have to go fucking pee again. I don't know why. Don't ask. I drink a lot of water. I'm drinking Coke. I don't fucking know. I'll be back, okay? I'm sorry. I'll be right back. 2 seconds. Oh my fucking god, holy shit. He'll be dead within a few years? Oh my god, holy fuck, guys. So mean. What the fuck? I thought we were friends. No, I literally have just drank a lot of fluid. I'm drinking, which doesn't help. It was certain that the cunning intruder wouldn't have been buried alive so easily. Given the complexity of the traps he'd laid and his intimate knowledge of the ruins, he must have left himself an escape route. The monster wasn't particularly intelligent, but its hunter's instincts led it to circle the collapsed building. In less than 10 seconds, it discovered a hidden cave, angling downwards. The opening was concealed by debris of the fallen structure, sheltered from the collapse. It was difficult to spot, but tucked away. The monster raised its right hand, conjuring a fist-sized fireball in its palm. With a sudden lunge, it hurled a fireball down the passageway. The flames streaked through the air, penetrating the basement and colliding with the far wall. The wave didn't affect Lumion, who was deliberately hiding in another corner. It only overturned the bottle of grey amber perfume in front of him and quaked the entire basement. The gurgle of liquid flowed from the open bottle, its elegant and sweet fragrance intensifying. Lumion leaned against the wall, eyes closed, lost in cogitation. He conjured a crimson sun, holding it steady. Suddenly, a terrifying sound reached Lumien's ears, as if from an infinite distance away. Shh, it's okay. Blue veins bulged across his face, neck, hands, and quickly turned red. Simultaneously, silver-black spots seeped from his skin. You have Klein's gun? I don't have Death Knell. Is that for sale? Death Knell LOTM. I don't see. Man, if there is one, that'd be fun. He opened his mouth to scream, but collapsed and curled up before a sound could escape. Fallen Mercury slipped from Lumien's left palm, but it dared not make a move. It didn't even attempt to approach his exposed face or right hand to create a marionette through contact. It quivered there violently. Outside the basement, the monster poised to conjure a fireball froze. It couldn't help but shudder. A few seconds later, it left, abandoning the hunt. Lumien plunged into a darkness teeming with flickering flames, his mind overwhelmed with excruciating pain and malevolent thoughts. In that moment, death seemed preferable. He had sensed something deep within him rapidly growing and taking form. It appeared to be a trauma composed of all the negative personalities and a particular will. Once assembled into a human shape, they would supplant the original him. Amid the unending despair of darkness and pain, Lumien caught a whiff of a scent, elegant and sweet. It was Aurora's fragrance, a familiar fragrance. Aurora. Big sis. Lumien slowly regained his composure, as if hearing the comforting melody once more. I want to live. The loop hadn't ended. A rush of thoughts flooded to him, Lumien finally vanquishing the pitch-black will and the agony-laced darkness within his heart, his eyes opening. The first thing he saw was the toppled bottle of grey amber perfume. It toppled? His heart ached as he reached out. Intentionally, initially, he'd only intended to mimic Aurora's use of incense to control his symptoms and rely on the natural perfume as a wake-up call. Unexpectedly, more than half the bottle had spilled. Yeah, but that bottle spilling probably saved his life, right? Because that, like, kind of jolted him awake, or, like, reminded him of his human... I don't know what the fuck is going on with this fucking guy, but, like, whatever. It brought him back. In the next instant, his body quivered. He saw the charred, blood-stained back of his hand and the silver-black, circular spots that had yet to fade. Without needing a reminder, Lumien could smell the unfamiliar, hair-raising scent on himself. If he crossed paths with Valentine right now, he'd be purified by his holy light without revealing a thing. Lumien scooped up the remaining half of the grey amber perfume, tightened the cap and stowed it away. He then picked up Fallen Mercury, still trembling, and asked in Hermes, "Is the fate exchange over?" Fallen Mercury shook left and right that it wasn't. Lumien breathed a sigh of relief. He feared that by the time he awoke, the exchange would be over and the shock would last no more than a minute. If he couldn't locate the monster in time, his recent torment would be futile. Wait, what? I thought the swapping of the fate would make him, like, completely vulnerable to Lumien's, like, specialness or whatever, but it only would last a minute? Lumien adjusted his dreadful condition and mustered his remaining strength before crawling out of the basement. Each motion tugged at various wounds, making him wince. Upon exiting the basement, it would be broken otherwise? Okay. Upon exiting, Lumion searched the monster's tracks and sighed. Using cogitation in such a state and fully activating the symbol on his chest is downright suicidal. I haven't done it since becoming a hunter, barely repressing the symptoms with grey amber scent. Had I done it a few times, my body might have slightly mutated, turning me into a monster. I can't risk this unless I have a death wish. He opted for cogitation to successfully activate the blackthorn symbol on his chest rather than sacrificial dance's partial activation. As time was of the essence, he couldn't perform the dance. With cogitation, he could frighten off the monster in 5 or 6 seconds. The enigmatic sacrificial dance, however, took 30 to 40 seconds, even with his familiarity. In Lumion's hunting strategy, this was a... What the actual fuck? Sorry, what the fuck is going on? Hold on, bear with me for 1 second. What the fuck is going on here? Sorry, the game I was downloading just fucking opened up. Hold on. I need to close it, hold on. And think of the difference in strength. Wait. And said she'd be a better prostitute than Fours. You know what? Good for her. You know what? It's a noble profession. Fuck you guys. The fact that you guys are looking down on that's on you, okay? I would consider you to think about your misogyny there. Before long, Lumion discovered the flaming monster's tracks and pursued him. A few minutes later, the prince appeared fresher, so he slowed his pace. Soon after, the fallen Mercury shuddered on its own, notifying Lumion that the fate exchange was complete. Without hesitation, Lumion brandished the iron black axe and charged forward, following the monster's footprints. In 20 seconds, he spotted the scorched, smoldering prey. It cowered in the rock-encircled corner, quaking. Lumion dashed over, cast aside the fallen Mercury, and seized the axe, cleaving down with all his might. With a dull thud, the monster's head and body separated. Bright red blood spurted out violently, igniting into a scarlet flame cluster on the ground. Lumion, unable to hold on any longer, collapsed to the ground with his axe. Let's go, baby. Absolute cinema. I tried to instigate Dara by saying you said you take her as a prostitute, but she said she'd take... Oh, Kami. Alright, well, it is, alright, it is good to know. It is... That is useful information. Thank you, Kami. No, money. There was zero riz involved. What she said was if I paid her enough money, that might work. There's zero riz involved in that. Don't say W riz. That's so fucking funny. That's so jokes. Alright, boys, we did it. I said I would get to 97 today. I fucking did it, okay? I did. Did it take me 2 streams today? Maybe. Who's asking? But we did it, okay? We finish Volume 1 tomorrow. Alright, thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a great rest of your day or night. I need to... Yes, I will schedule a stream. Money, I will check it out right now. I'll check it out right now. Alright, everyone. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. We'll finish the volume, and we'll fucking keep going. Bye, boys and girls. This is Dr. Z. Present. Bye.